Hi everyone, my name is Matabeleland Charles Khumalo, representing Matabeleland Sustainability Organization. Did you know that Zimbabwe is a developing country with a poverty rate well over 65%? Most of its people depend on natural resources, and there exists a myriad of environmental problems within the nation. But we as a nation are committed to Agenda 2030 of sustainable development. Well, I say, as Matabeleland Sustainability Organization, which I represent, and the different groups involved in this symposium, judging from what I feel and know, I know we all want to see our country achieve sustainable development. I represent a group of young professionals from different backgrounds with a common cause to take action and push the nation forward in achieving Agenda 2030 and the SDGs. And how do we do that? So just last week, I was attending the Zimbabwe Alternative Mining Indaba, ZAMI, which was organized by Zela. And there was a discussion on the differences between a worker and a hustler. Quite simple, a worker can be employed by the government or a private company, but they are protected by what? A contract. They have a determined salary. These guys got paid during the lockdown. They could at least afford to earn a decent living. A hustler, on the other hand, which they call SMEs, although most of them fall short to be in that class of small to medium enterprises, these guys have a variable income, sometimes it's zero. They had no pay during the lockdown. They could not afford to earn a living a day after lockdown. That's why we saw them back on the streets so early. Well, that's one scenario. Look at this one. An illegal mining system versus a legal mining system. Illegal alluvial miners, these people, they do not insure their ore. They are not insured. They cannot be regulated. They are not regulated, in fact. And they do not reclaim the land they're mining on. They leave pits which pose a hazard sometimes to human life and livestock in the areas that they mine mostly. Well, legal small-scale miners, these people in most cases are insured. Their ore is insured. If an accident were to happen, the insurance company will pay for hospitalization, and land reclamation is almost certain with these people in the sites they are mining at, and they can be regulated by the relative authorities. So on your screens you have a picture with pits. This is an illegal mining site within Matabeleland. And I was just asking myself, after these guys mine, from what we have seen and experienced within the region, they will leave those pits like this. And this poses a threat, like a hazard to human life and livestock within the areas where they are mining. And as we have seen in the case of Umzingwane district, in the Nlema catchment areas, in the Chavez catchment areas, where these illegal miners do their activities, they leave those pits and the sand goes and fills the catchment areas, and this reduces the capacity of our water catchment areas. Imagine, think about that. So think of this. Are your activities sustainable? Can they be sustained for a long period of time? Can they be upheld or defended as clean and beautiful practices? So speaking about sustainable development in Matabeleland, we need to define the area in question here, its reliance on resources, the problems they face, and of course, the sustainable development. What is it? How does it affect us? The regional and international perspective, and how we can get on board in the sustainability ship as a nation. Well, the area that is on the spotlight now, Matabeleland, this is a region lying in the southwest part of the country, between the Limpopo and Zambezi rivers, with three provinces represented, Matabeleland South, Bulawayo, and Matabeleland North. A third of the population of Zimbabwe lives within this region, and glory used to lay on the region because the city of Bulawayo, which is in the center, used to be a powerhouse of industries and was the engineering hub of the nation. And one still stands, the gold and mineral mines found within this region. But there's been a decline in the industries that used to be found within this region. Water supply also has become scarce in the region, and the economic meltdown within the nation also affects the region a lot. And this drives people into poverty. We all know what this means to the environment. Well, so many people tend to now rely on the natural resources for a living, and this leads to other problems like sand poaching, which is very unsustainable and done in a wrong way, although the councils provide cheaper and more sustainable alternatives, but people still resort to sand poaching. Wood poaching that happens within and out of the protected areas. I won't go into detail about this one. Illegal mining, like we spoke about earlier on. It leads to wildfires that ravage our forests. The pits that they mine at are left unreclaimed, and these pose a hazard to wildlife and humans. And we also have erosion that's happening because of this illegal mining. And also, last but not least, unsustainable timber logging is one of the problems that we're facing in the region. Well, when we speak of unsustainable activities, we have to ask ourselves a few questions, which is why Matabeleland Sustainability Organization is here. We're asking these questions. We're saying, to what extent are these problems occurring? How much resources are available? How much of the resources are being used? Who is affected in this unsustainable practice? And how much help is needed? These are the kind of questions we need to ask ourselves when we speak about sustainability issues. Of sustainable development, I believe we need to define it. But I envision this as the scenario when the biosphere and the human civilization will constantly coexist. We all know that the United Nations member states agreed and established a set of goals, which are the SDGs, that are meant to solve social, economic, and environmental problems that we're facing as the world. But before implementing these SDGs, as MSO, we feel there is need for the people to understand the goals. Why are we supposed to implement them? How are we implementing them? And what are the expected results from implementing them? This has to be done at local level, at community level, which is why I believe that when we carry out the Agenda 2030, we need to make a strategic plan and implement it. As we implement it, we evaluate and revise the strategy over and over again. It's not an easy road. It will never be an easy road. We know what the end product is. We're all expecting zero hunger within our nation, clean water and sanitation, sustainable cities and communities, life on land that is appreciated, climate action, affordable and clean energy. But there are hurdles or challenges that we will face within this road. Some are anticipated, some are not anticipated. So that's where we come in as environmentalists. Well, looking at a world perspective of sustainable development, in 2019, the United Nations evaluated the environmental targets that we had set, and they concluded and recommended that as a world, we need to do more. We need to boost our efforts in reducing pollution. We need to use resources more efficiently, and we need to better protect the environment. They also said we need to have open source software and technologies that will be used by everyone worldwide in achieving SDGs. They said we need to establish processes of collecting data and producing the statistics. And so that when we talk of pollution, we don't just talk of pollution, we say how much of the pollution is happening and how much will it cost to deal with it. They also recommended that we need to start sharing this data between agencies and the government. And they say we need to realize that every country is at different stages in the processes of reaching the SDGs, and their demands are need specific attention to the needs of individual countries. So this goes down even to community levels. Communities are different. There are different levels in reaching SDGs, and they need specific attention for every community. And last but not least, they said it is impossible to reach sustainable development without solving the water issues. Now that's a big problem in our region in Matabeleland. And remember what I said on the water crisis. Now, looking at how far Zimbabwe has leveled up, we have shown a strong commitment to Agenda 2030. This is shown by our policies, the legal and institutional frameworks that have been set up, but we still face a lot of other challenges, and we have also learned some lessons from it. We have had in the past other programs like the District Environmental Action Plan of Agenda 21, the DEEP. We've had Millennium Development Goals, but because of various issues, just to name a few, top to bottom level approach, poor evaluation of progress of these programs, we did not manage to change most of the communities in the way that we had viewed. And we have 10 years left to achieve Agenda 2030. Now, we are entering into a decade of action, I should call it. 2020 is a make it or break it year. We need to plan and execute carefully. The future lies in our hands. The future lies in Matabeleland Sustainability Organization's hands. The future lies in every other organization that is willing to push forward in sustainable development. Well, these and other issues have led to the inception of the Matabeleland Sustainability Organization. We aim at helping our nation make a huge leap in the journey of Agenda 2030. And our objectives are quite simple. We come with integrated solutions, systems thinking, and we aim at having a coexistence between the human civilization and the biosphere. And our goals are to understand and make everyone understand that the SDGs require commitment and action at the local level. Our organization will work towards closing in on the gap of available knowledge on the scope of environmental issues. We will work at assessing the state of progress towards achieving SDGs within the Matabeleland region. We want to empower students, early career scientists within the relative field, and equip them with skills and tools to help them to combat the various environmental issues within the region. We want to collaborate with parties involved in the environmental and conservation education in the region, and we want to make education programs that will be unified and standard and acceptable in all ways. And last but not least, we want to take part in monitoring of key biodiversity areas within the Matabeleland region. As Matabeleland Sustainability Organization, we believe that individual action is not enough. That's why we value collaboration, assistance, and partnerships. This marks the end of my presentation. For any queries, questions, or additions, please feel free to contact me. I thank you. Have a good day.